Hello, welcome to Community Corner. I'm ONTV. My name is David DeWitt Taylor, and my two friends are.
Hello, my name is Karnig Castle.
Hello, I'm Ryan Nicholas Gray.
Today, our guest is Kris LaVanway, a friend who spent several years in the Rochester Community School District, working with primary students with special needs. We all know Kris from our community in Falmouth and have enjoyed several happy times in your home at holiday parties. Kris is a wonderful, warm, and joyous individual who warmly shares these qualities with everyone she meets, and especially in the school environment, where she is highly valued and deeply appreciated. We warmly welcome Kris. Thank you, Kris.
Welcome to our show. Welcome.
Well, thank you for that nice invitation, David.
Welcome, Kris.
I'm happy to be here.
Can you please tell us a little bit about your family and life growing up?
Sure. I was one of 6 children. I'm number 5. I grew up in Western New York in the snow belt, out in the country, in a very loving family surrounding, enjoying the outdoors, and I really still enjoy the outdoors. Anything I can do outdoors, I love. So my family consists of 4 boys and 2 girls, and my parents.
Cool. Did you like attending school?
I loved going to school. We rode the school bus every day, 45 minutes to school and 45 minutes home, because we were the last in our school district on the bus route. So we had a long bus ride, so we developed a lot of good friendships on our bus, and going to school was very important to me. I loved my teachers and loved being part of the classroom.
Yeah. That's a very long bus ride.
Yes, it was a
Now,
very long.
Mrs. LaVanway, would you please share with us some of your hobbies and interests?
Okay, well, I think I told you that I love anything outdoors. So I love gardening and flowers. I attribute that to my mother, who was quite a wonderful gardener. And I enjoy walking on the trail. I live right on Paint Creek Trail, so I walk in the summer and I cross-country ski in the winter. And my husband and I love to travel. We do a fair amount of traveling, and now with all 4 of our children living out of state, we'll be probably doing a little more traveling to go visit them.
That's cool.
Would you tell us a little bit about your career choices over the years?
Well, I went to business school after high school because I wasn't sure what direction to go in, and my father was wise and advised me that I needed to have some sort of career so that I could have a job when I was done. So I graduated from business school and took a job in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, because my sister and brother-in-law were living there at the time, and enjoyed that and met my first husband, and we moved around about 5 times the first year we were married and ended up in Michigan. So we had a child on the way, and so I was an at-home mom until I did some I worked for the Christian Science Monitor. I was advertising. I did advertising for the Monitor. And I worked in several different stores, but then they had a need in the elementary school for a recess person. They were really short of people to volunteer. And then it worked into that's how I really started working for the Rochester Community Schools. Was I met a need for a recess person, and that's where I got my start, and my career started from there in the Rochester Community Schools.
And what led you to work in the education field?
Well, I love children. I love children, and as I said, I was a recess person, and then they started a program called Early Childhood Education. And I said, I think I'd like to take that training. So I took the training for that. And from then on, I was an early childhood para in first grade for a long time, and then they kind of phased that out a little bit, and I moved from University Hills, where I know Emily went to school, and moved over to Hamlin because they needed a Title I parapro. And Title I works with at-risk early primary students who are low and they need tutoring. So it's a one-to-one program. That's the way I worked with my students. I'd pull them out of the classroom and tutor them 4 times a week, half hour at a time, one-on-one. And I loved it. I really loved that. For 21 years, I did that.
Wow.
For 21 years?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mrs. LaVanway, what exactly was the role of a paraeducator?
Well, there are different paraeducators. There are parapros that do just special ed children. There are paras that do the early childhood, and then there are paras that do Title I. And each building, I believe there are 6 Title I schools in the Rochester Community Schools. Out of 13 elementaries, there are 6 Title I schools. And Title I is a federal program, and it's funded by, they get free breakfasts and free lunch program. And those children usually come from a family that needs extra support and help. And so at the beginning of each year, we would test all children coming into first grade and see where our biggest need was. And we developed a team of children and worked with them, tutored them, and I loved it.
Did you have any special training to be a paraeducator?
Well, to be a Title I para, no. I think just my experience working with early childhood children. That was probably my training, and working one-on-one with the teacher as well. We worked as a team.
Do you have to write reports?
I did. That's a very good question. After I had each student, I would write notes on exactly what we covered that day, and I'd send them home every 2 weeks with the student. They would go home so the parent could see their progress as the year went on and see how well they were doing. And when I wasn't working with the student, tutoring them one-on-one, I was back in their classroom. And if they needed help in reading, generally they also needed help in other areas. So being that they were used to me, I could work with them very easily in the classroom.
Mrs. LaVanway, what recollections have you had in the district when you were job hunting? Because many teachers in, let's say, Michigan had a hard time finding a job. So how did you go about finding a job when you were in the zoo district?
Well, Ryan, I think I was very grateful because my job came to me. There was a need, and it was at a time when there weren't a lot of paraprofessionals, and they were looking for people that were willing to do that. So I didn't have a teaching degree, so I was more than willing to take whatever training I needed to take to pursue and help with the needs of these kids, because I could see they really needed help.
Thank you.
Can one change grade levels and locations? If so, what is the process?
Do you mean, could I change their grades?
Can one can change grade levels and locations?
Can I as a parapro?
Yes.
Well, I probably could have if I desired to go to, say, the high school, but I loved working with the lower elementary children.
Oh.
So I preferred that. Kindergarten first, and I did work in second grade as well, but probably first grade I spent the most time in.
How did you meet Ryan?
How did I meet? Through you, David. Through you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And also the same MA through David.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Good friends.
Yeah, we were awesome friends. And that's never going to change. What did a work day look like?
A work day I would usually get to my little office about 20 minutes before school started so I could get set up and ready for my first student. And then I would go down to the classroom and pick up that student, and we'd walk back together, and I'd ask he or she questions about what was going on in their life. And so by the time we got down to my office, we'd be ready to settle down and get our work done. I only had them for 30 minutes, so that sounds like it's a long time to a first grader, but it went so fast. And then I would either have another student or I would be walking back to the classroom to help out in the classroom. That's the way my day went, just a student and back in the classroom.
That's how your day went? Okay.
Back and forth.
Now, Mrs. LaVanway, are you able to work closely with the student teacher, and in what capacity?
I did work with the teacher. So I also had to let the teacher know exactly what we were covering when the student was with me, so that she, or usually it was a female teacher, would know what the student was accomplishing and how they were progressing. She would see those reports that I would make out every 2 weeks and send out. She would read those, so she understood too.
Ah.
So I loved working with those teachers. They were great. We're still very good friends.
Who provides your material to work with students with needs?
Good question, David. We have, in each Title I school, there is a learning consultant. In fact, I think every elementary
I
school.
heard that word before.
A learning consultant, yeah. And
So have I.
she usually has all the materials that I would need. And it was several different things that we would use. And we had bookcase after bookcase of books that we would use with the students. And sometimes they'd take them home and bring them back. And
I got a lot of homework.
a lot of homework? Not a lot of homework. I didn't give them
Homework?
too much homework, but I did give them a little bit every day.
Yeah.
But the learning consultant usually provided us with everything we needed.
Hopefully I don't get a lot of homework in college.
Oh, yeah.
Aren't there in college? Homework is the one thing you don't want.
Oh, yeah. What things did the teacher ask you to do?
When I was in the classroom? Oh, maybe little Johnny needed help with his math that day. Maybe he didn't understand it. Or he might have been with me when they were doing the math assignment. So I would teach him whatever he needed to know that day for math. Oh, I did all kinds of things. Bulletin boards, we'd play games together. I would go out to recess with them. We had I had a nice relationship with the teachers. It was very nice.
Now, Mrs. LaVanway,
That's good.
able to communicate face-to-face or in writing a note to the parent or guardian?
That's another good question. That would be covered in the letters that I would write down each week. Every 2 weeks they would go home, but the parents were well aware of what we were doing, and sometimes the parents would come in and I would have a little meeting with them, not necessarily at parent-teacher conference.
Oh,
I think that might be one of the questions, but I would feel free to talk to the parents, and they were told to call me anytime they had any questions. So I had a good rapport with the parents.
Can you be a part of a parent-teacher conference or an open house?
Yes. Open house, I was always there with the teacher because she would introduce me as the Title I paraprofessional. But parent-teacher conference, no, I didn't attend that. I felt that was between the parent and their teacher. But I always had notes of things that we were doing with my students, and I would hand those over to the teacher so she could, explain how little Johnny was doing at the time.
Could you write things on a charge report card?
No, I didn't do that. That was the teacher's responsibility, and I felt I sent home the reports every 2 weeks, so the parents were well aware of what we were accomplishing.
Okay.
Now, Mrs. LaVanway, when you were in school, did you ever you were part of the special needs students keyword helping team? Because helping teams are very important. They're a vital component of a child's well-being and to be able to learn. So were you part of any helping teams when you were
Well,
teaching?
I always feel like we're all a team, whether I was a special ed para, which I wasn't, or a Title I para, or an early childhood para. We worked as a team in the school. We were all a team.
Are you asked to be attended school activities beyond the regular school hours?
Oh, if we had an ice cream social, you know, that was always fun to go to because it
Making me
was.
hungry.
No.
Oh, me too. Ice cream.
Yeah.
The ice cream.
Who doesn't like ice cream?
Ice cream is
Everybody
great.
likes it.
Yeah.
I like mint chocolate chip.
Ooh, yes, my favorite. But usually not too many outside activities other than my work day.
Yeah.
But ice cream social was a favorite because it was an art open house too.
Cool. It seems that you had a strong connection with the kids and the parents.
I did. I really enjoyed each student, and what was fun was to watch their progress through the whole school year.
That's nice.
And they would come to me and say, "But I can't read," and I'd say, "Well, you're by the end of the year, you're going to be an expert reader." And sure enough, they pretty much were.
Okay.
They were right up where they needed to be by the end of the school year.
That sounds cool.
It was, yeah.
Who did you report to? Who did you report to as a boss?
Yes, that's a good question. The learning consultant would be my person that I would, if I had a problem or a question to ask, I would go to the learning consultant. I didn't usually have to go to my principal for anything, but the learning consultant worked with the principal, so she would be the one that I'd go to, the learning consultant.
It seems like I remember that.
You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that from my purpose.
Sure, learning
what-
consultant.
For my purpose in Westminster, they were nice to me and did a lot of things with me.
Oh, that's good.
In
That's
fact,
good.
they were some of the best ones that David and I had, right, David?
Yeah.
That's it.
All right. Now, Mrs. Lamb, before we close our program, what would you tell our viewers, those tuning into our show, about seeking work in this field of special education?
Oh, I think it's very rewarding. You just see the progress that each and every student is making at their own rate, and above all, I think they're very happy, loving individuals.
Here you are.
But listening to your background, what kind of changes have you seen in this field right now?
In my field,
Yeah.
what changes have I seen? Well, I don't believe they tutor one-on-one anymore, which is too bad because I think that students need that one-on-one with a paraeducator or anyone. They need that one-on-one training. But I don't know as they are able to provide that because of I don't know as they have as many people as they used to have. So I do see that change.
Well, gentlemen, you can ask your questions now.
What? They have questions now?
Nope. I'm patient. Very patient.
Who's next?
I don't have any questions.
I already did. That's all I have was 21. That's all I
What
have.
is your favorite drink?
What's my favorite drink? Well, right now, it's green tea. I love green tea.
Green tea?
Nope, there's more questions. There's one more.
You threw me off, man.
Oh, fun. Okay. Chris, now tell me something.
Okay.
Be honest about this. What is your favorite pizza joint?
Well, my husband's favorite pizza joint is Jets Pizza. He
Wrong.
loves Jets.
Wrong.
Square pizza.
I
That's-
like Sir Pizza
What
better.
is it?
Okay.
What is his favorite square pizza on Jets?
Oh, I think it's with everything on it.
Everything on it.
Mr. LaVanway likes everything on his
I
pizza.
know he does, I know.
Yes. We don't have pizza too often, but
Pizza's pretty good.
sounds pretty good.
Do you like Do you like computers?
Do I like?
Computers.
Do you like computers?
I do like computers. I wish
do
they
I.
liked me a little bit better.
do
Mrs.
it better.
LaVanway needs a lot of
I know, Mrs. LaVanway.
tutoring on a computer.
I have the right man for you right here.
Oh, is he the computer guru?
Yeah, the consultant.
He's smart.
That's very good.
How about I'm also into video editing
That's excellent, Aaron.
and taking pictures.
That is excellent.
What else do you do? Name more.
I watch cartoons.
Oh.
I talk on the phone with my friends.
Can you take pictures and develop them and then put them into on a video?
Yeah. I could I'm sort of something like that. Sort of something like that. I take pictures of my digital camera.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. And so I'm trying to learn how to group them in groups.
I'm in the process
What
of
movies have you seen lately?
Oh my goodness. I had a feeling you were going to ask me this, David. You're such a movie guy. You're such
With
a
Joyce Ryan.
Oh, what have I seen? Skyfall, I think, was the last movie I
It's
saw.
out today on DVD.
Oh, out today on DVD. Well, that's good.
how about have you seen the movie Wreck-It Ralph?
I didn't see that one.
I have.
Did you?
It is
Did you?
awesome.
Oh. Okay.
The first day that movie comes out, I'm gonna get it. Hopefully.
You
It's
guys
actually
are
coming
just
next
so
month.
knowledgeable.
Cool. We're met next month.
Oh yes. Listen, before we close our program out today, could you please share with us a success story, something that made you feel when you worked at a Parapro, Mrs. LaVanway? Tell us one positive story to make everyone in our viewing audience this afternoon feel right at home with your tale. Please share.
Okay, I will feel right at home with my tale. I think it was one of my students, who's all grown up now, came to me, and she was obviously in need of tutoring one-on-one, but she also had a challenge where she would almost black out every time. I mean, she would kind of look through me. She wouldn't see me, and so she wasn't really hearing my instructions on the next thing to do. And so I had a conversation with the teacher, and then the teacher had a conversation with the parent, and everybody was noticing this. So I decided that I needed to just see her as a good student and not a challenged student. And do you know where she is now?
Where?
She's working in Chicago, and she is a very successful lawyer.
Ah, yes, Chicago.
So,
that
a
totally
very
town.
successful lawyer, and I think that is wonderful.
You're making
Well,
the big
gentlemen, let's
bucks.
close our program. Chris, thanks for being our guest today. Individuals with special needs call for gentle and supportive thought. These school experiences, there is no different than any other student. However, it is expected to guide them in primal age of student challenges. It is most informative and inspiring. Today, you have shared with us how you, in the district, approved for that in support and in how important it is that paraeducator work with student closely with the student and the teacher in the classroom, forming a bond of support and to ensure the best level of performance. Student to guide them in skill building with passion and love. Thank you for coming on, Mrs. LaVanway. I'm Ryan Nicholas Gray. Have a good night.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
I enjoyed it. Yes,
Untitled.
you gentlemen are very successful.
Thank you,
and
Mrs.
very
LaVanway. I appreciate it.
knowledgeable.
I'm David DeWitt Taylor, Community Corner. Thank you, Kris, for coming.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
I'm my man Karnig Castle. You've been watching ONTV and CMN TV. This is Community Corner.
See you all next week on Community Corner. Bye.